Under Paris. That's right, folks. We had some time in the schedule, so I figured let's talk about a movie that I was genuinely interested in seeing, called Under Paris. What if there was a shark? Okay, do I have your attention? Now let me get to the next part of that sentence. What if there was a shark? Under Paris. What would that look like? I can't even conceive of such a thing happening. But Xavier Gens, I believe that's their name, they could. They had a story for this, Xavier Gens. They're like, yeah, I know what a shark would do if it was under Paris. I didn't know what to expect from this movie. It's a Netflix original that is, from a French filmmaker and a French cast. So it's not one that was like going to be shot up on all the social medias and everything, but you did see Netflix kind of tweeting about it. So I knew this movie was coming out. I'm like, I love a good shark movie. I love sharks. The theme of this channel is like beach and nautical stuff, and sharks fall into that. I love a shark movie. It's always a good time to see that. And I feel like this generation doesn't have their defining shark movie, I love Sharknado, but that's not like a movie about a shark doing a thing, I guess you could say this is like the first attempt to do like this generation's Jaws or like this generation's movie about a shark. I wish it was. I just don't think it's going to be because it's a streaming movie and it's not going to get the wide audience that it could. But this film's pretty interesting. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's perfect. It definitely falls into some cliches of the genre, the disaster genre, or just the revenge genre, and it gets lost in that. But for the most part, it is a film that wears its influences on its sleeves, and that's never a bad thing. If you can see what a movie's trying to accomplish, what they're trying to homage, then you know what you're in for. And that's not something that sucks. It just helps you understand the flow and the structure that we're going into this piece to expect. And I appreciate that. It has a lot of similarities to Jaws, just like the person who wants to close the beach, the authority figure or the mayor, it's like, no, we can't, we got a thing going on, no one really listening to the signs, having to get on the water to hunt it yourself, and going into different aspects of that. If you took the basic conceit of that movie, made it French, and filmed it in 2024, it's pretty much what you'd expect it to be. Very modern movie. Not just in terms of just the way the film looks, because it looks very modern. It's got like the streaming style of aesthetics to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most things look like that now, so I'm not complaining. But just the way we use social media, or the way we hack into certain things, or just the fact that there's some kids magnet fishing in a big river. That feels very 2024. And I really appreciated that. Where I'm like, yeah, that's how you would capture this stuff today. But the main premise follows this woman named Sophia. She was 3 years ago researching this shark somewhere in the ocean, and it attacked her crew, including somebody she loved. And 3 years later, like a group of like teenage activists who are kind of like cyberpunky, they have like a very specific aesthetic, maybe not cyberpunk, but they're like hackers working in the dark, areas of the internet to like free whales and sharks and stuff. They think they found the shark that killed her people, and it's literally under Paris. And that's where I'm like, okay, that's freaking sick. That's a cool concept. This woman wants to just like get some resolution for the events that happened to her through this shark that she knows. That's awesome. Show me what you got. This movie is just people going under Paris to fight a shark. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. That's all you need this to be. I don't hate any of the characters. I can't sit here and tell you that they're perfect or they're very likable. You might know a few of them, like Adil, who's like, or Adil, I think it'd be Adil. He is like the head police commander guy who he's just like strong and tough, and he's like, there's no way it's a shark. It's a shark. Uh-oh. And Sophia, very competent lead. Half of the stuff she does and half the stuff that like the other kids do are just like looking at a screen where it's like a shark radar and you can like sense where the shark is. I'm like, that's kind of sick. It's kind of sick. And they're like the only characters you really need to think about because none of them else really matter. And why would they? But I do appreciate that. I do like the way it handles these characters. It gives them enough presence that you'd want to see for characters like this. So I can't be mad about that. And I know people are going to talk about the visual effects and all that. That's just what people talk about now. They are what you would expect from a movie of this caliber and this budget, and if you're not happy with that, tough shit. Like, I think it looks good. It's very fluid. There's a lot of really cool visuals that this movie presents, especially when we're like underwater. It presents water in a way that I haven't seen water presented in like that much of a context. When we're on the ocean, when we're in the river, when we're just like in the catacombs, it's dirty and mucky and there's garbage everywhere. And every single time we're in the water, you're just like, this is depressing and gross. And that's kind of the theme of this movie, is just how like cynical and dystopic the world has become, where like you can't even go for a swim without potentially killing yourself. It's very depressing and very cynical about itself, which I appreciate. You know, go for it. You don't have to leave me happy at the end. If you want to go out on a somber affair, I'm for that. I'm not against doing that, whatever. I don't know if it's like nihilistic or it's like the world sucks. It's just more like events that we have done have led us to this being the circumstance. Isn't that shit? And I appreciate it having that feeling. It does all the stuff you want from the shark movie. There's tension building to the reveal of the shark. And when we get to it, it goes all out. You know, and then it goes above and beyond that feeling towards the next feeling. It never slows down to let you be like, you just catch up for a minute. It's like, no, this is going to go and go and go and go. It's eventually going to lead to a very scary, very real place that you're not thinking this movie could go to, but it goes there. And you know, I got to appreciate that when it takes the attempts to do something different like that. It's pretty exciting and fun. It's a very interesting film. I appreciate everything it's doing. I understand what it's trying to homage and what it's trying to be influenced by. And seeing that's really interesting. And presenting it in modern context, having the world feel very bleak. It feels very empty and shallow. Well, it's about like a monster lurking beneath us that we think we're trying to save, but it doesn't give a shit. There's a metaphor in there, and you could find it or not. It doesn't matter. If you don't want to look for it, it's just about a shark under Paris. And that's pretty damn scary. So, Under Paris, I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.